Third at Yankee Stadium, and yes, that is Jack McDowell, a different sight. Jack McDowell in Yankee pinstripes, and they let him keep the downplayed Fu Manchu look. It's not the full-blown that he always exhibited with the White Sox, but he's kind of altered their facial hair rule a little bit. His wife had never seen him without the Fu Manchu and shaved his face. She said, "Grow it back, you look terrible."
Buck Showalter, when he was questioned about the tradition of the Yankees, he said, "You know, I'm not concerned about that facial hair thing." He said, "One tradition I'm concerned about is winning, and we're going to continue to do that."
Well, that's a tradition that they haven't experienced here. Remember, they have not been in the postseason since 1981. Lost that year the World Series to the Los Angeles Dodgers in that strike year. And it has not happened since. Of course, he has been in the postseason, Jimmy Key.
That's interesting that Jimmy Key would be sitting next to John Wetland. Wetland is a student of hitters, and I'm sure he's picking Key's brain right now, thinking about the possibility of working later on in this ball game. So you go to the man who you regard as the best student of the other team's hitting, and Wetland is sitting right there talking the Rangers lineup with Jimmy Key.
Now the count is 3-1 to Pat Kelly. So you've seen Jack McDowell rip past Palmer. It looked like it glanced off the bottom of his glove. And Pat Kelly, the number 9 hitter, is aboard with the Yankees' 3rd hit of the afternoon.
There are no soft spots in this 9-man lineup. Everybody has confidence. They've led the American League in hitting the last 2 years. Number 9 hitter Pat Kelly rips it through the left side of the infield. Dean Palmer can't flag it down.
Kind of short-armed it a little, didn't he, Buck?
It looked like he might not have picked it up off the bat real well.
So Kelly is aboard, and we go to the top of the lineup with Wade Cranberry Boggs. His 3rd year as a Yankee. Won a Gold Glove last year. First one in his career. Well, that meant a lot to him. Greg Paul.
Well, as much time as he dedicates to hitting, he dedicates just as much time to fielding. He takes about 100 ground balls a day and is always out there trying to prepare himself for the game defensively.
Of course, hitting is what the Chicken Man is known for. Lifetime average of .335. 7 straight 200-hit seasons. American League record. Last year, when he hit .342 at 35 multi-hit games. Speed by Rogers. So worked him outside, he worked him inside, Buck, and he's dropped in 2 strikes.
Well, one thing, when you get ahead of Wade Boggs, you're really not out of the woods. He is a very good 2-strike hitter, probably the best in the league. He changes his sights somewhat, always thinking about the opposite field, but with 2 strikes, he really has the opportunity to sit back. Being a base runner ahead of Wade Boggs is really a treat because he takes so many pitches and gives you all those opportunities to get a good jump.
Laid off it. Rogers missed outside. The count is 1-2. Chris Berman and Buck Martinez with you. Opening day at Yankee Stadium. 1-1 game in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Tartabull's long home run to left center field. The Yankees run. Double by Hatcher. Pair of sacrifices. The RBI going to Nixon at the top of the 3rd, and that's where we stand. Key and Rogers each have given up 3 hits. And now you know the rest of the story.
You see, Boggs has worked the count to even at 2-2 after falling behind. He's got such a good eye and so much confidence. He takes a lot of close pitches.
Fouls that one off the upper deck, and that will bound down. Now, that was a little tougher for the fans, but again, I'm seeing that the fans have just not worked at this in the offseason. Nor, by the way, should they. By the way. Here's a panoramic view of Yankee Stadium. They were hoping to get close to 50 at game time. I didn't think so, Buck, and Boggs fouls that one back. They may get it. They may get 45, 46. The record here in the new stadium is 56 plus. Of course, the old stadium held in the 60s, 63, 64,000 before they reconfigured it in the mid-70s.
It took a while for the crowd to get here because they had to wait until about 11:30 so they could all say, "Hey, I'm going to lunch."
Right. Well, they also, you know, traffic coming into Yankee Stadium when you're going to get a crowd of close to 50,000 is not exactly, it's not exactly an easy place to get. You come down the Major Deegan, which means we should call the home plate umpire Bill Major Deegan. Boggs has worked it to full count. I will say this. I mean, you know, it's not in the greatest location to get to. It's difficult to get to. Some people have said, although they've worked very hard, have the Yankees and the New York City Police Department to make it a nice and a better atmosphere outside the park. But once you get inside Yankee Stadium, there are very few places like this. Even if you've never been here and you've watched it, seen it on TV, or seen pictures as a kid, you knew what this place looked like growing up. There goes Kelly, and Boggs will foul it away. I was fortunate. I grew up about an hour from here in suburban Connecticut, and my dad took me here many times to the old stadium, where you really were, like, for our young fans, like Baltimore and Cleveland, you're right behind. When you said you were in the third row behind first base, you really, when the catcher went by to back up the play, you could pat him on the shoulder. It was 463.
It was a big ballpark.
Center field, 457. Was where the 399 sign was. I mean, that was, the monuments were out in center field, and you could hit one off the top of the monuments and be in play.
And the outfield fences were very low, about 3 feet high and left and right. Bullpens were out in the open.
3-2 pitch to Boggs. We keep an eye on Kelly still. It was, the fences were about 4 feet, and in right field I saw Frank Robinson with the Orioles, Al Kaline, the Tigers routinely go in to make plays. 3 rows into the stands making catches. Here goes the runner Kelly again. Boggs will loft this. Will it get out of play? Hatcher will run it down. But he's not going to run out. He's going to run out of real estate. Well, we got triple-header baseball today, and tomorrow night we're back at you with hockey as hockey steamrolls toward the end of the regular season, which is the middle of next week. The Dallas Stars and the Chicago Blackhawks. That's at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. Bernie Nichols leads the Blackhawks. They've been struggling in Chelios. Can they get it back together to get their skates on straight? Rolling into the playoffs. There goes Kelly. There goes Boggs. And boy, he waited it out perfectly and hits one through the left side. So let's remember, this all began with an 0-2 count to Wade Boggs.
That's why he's got so many batting titles in his trophy room. He just wears out a pitcher. Pitcher makes a good pitch, Boggs fouls it off. Make another good pitch, he fouls it off until the pitcher makes a mistake and leaves it out to where Boggs can get to it. He was behind 0-2 to start off this at-bat. Looked like an easy at-bat for Kenny Rogers, and Boggs make it very difficult. A 2-out base hit to left. That's a familiar phrase when you tied Wade Boggs to it.
So now 2 on, none out. In a 1-1 game, and Jim Leyritz is up. Leyritz grounded to third in the bottom of the first inning, and Rogers works him inside and misses. Who had a 1-2-3 first inning, giving up a home run in the second inning to Tartabull, and now a pair of singles to start the third. Kelly and Boggs. Stanley also has a single. The Yankees with 4 hits, the Rangers with 3. Outside low, 2-0.
Kenny Rogers needs a ground ball right here. This part of the lineup, you've got an awful lot of power coming at you. Jerry Nairn, top step, keeping an eye on Kenny Rogers. I'd love to get a sinker ball blowing away and get a ground ball. Of course, we talked about the infield defense last year. The Rangers infield made more errors than any infield in the American League. I hope to improve upon that, of course.
2-0 pitch, lays to center field. Otis Nixon over with a good jump on the ball. And because it was laced, Pat Kelly, it was not a tag-up situation. So Kelly back to second, and Boggs back to first. That was hit well. And not that there was the most incredible play you've ever seen in center field, but yet the veteran center fielder Otis Nixon knew exactly where he had to get as soon as the ball hit the bat, Buck.
He was shaded in left center, but got a good jump off the bat. Quickly over to his left and makes the catch of the line drive. You know, when the pitching staff recognizes how much ground Otis Nixon can cover, they'll be a little bit quicker to throw the ball over the plate and put it in play. They've got a very solid outfield defense now.
So there's a big out for Kenny Rogers. Now he'll face the defending American League batting champion Paul O'Neill, who he struck out in the first inning. O'Neill from Columbus, Ohio. Beat Albert Bell by 2 points last year. 359 to Bell's 357 to Frank Thomas's 353. Lofton 349, Boggs 342. That was your top 5 last year. So the Yankees with numbers 1 and 5. Count is 2-0 to O'Neill with Tartabull on deck. 50 pitches thus far for Kenny Rogers. Is there a formula today, Buck, for each of the starters?
I don't know that there's a regular number that they have set before the game. They'll just kind of go on Rogers and how he feels. I'll keep a close eye on him, of course.
Count is 3-0 now, so with 2 men on and 1 out. Here's Willie Randolph, the third base coach, and what a nice ovation he got. He's a Yankee, Willie Randolph. They love him here. What a class player. Next to Mattingly and, of course, DiMaggio, the ovation for Randolph was about as loud as anyone else. And they introduced all the players on opening day. So it's so nice. All the coaches, even Gene Monahan, the trainer, all the players, reserves from every team. Both teams. Strike call. O'Neill taking all the way on a 3-0 pitch. Randolph coaching at third. Ryan Butterfield is the coach at first. There's the interim manager of the Texas Rangers, Jerry Narron. He's normally the third base coach for Johnny Oates. Narron has an interesting history here at Yankee Stadium. O'Neill thought it was ball 4, but Rogers plunked it in on the outside corner.
Now he's checking with Bill Deegan, the home plate umpire. This is that new slider that Kenny Rogers has developed this spring. Dick Bosman added this pitch to Kenny Rogers' mix, and he makes a very good pitch to the outside corner in a fastball count. Bill Deegan's call was questioned by O'Neill, but umpires around the American League will tell you that's not that unusual. O'Neill is always asking the umpires if they were sure about a pitch.
Rogers trying to pick Kelly at second base, almost threw it to center field. Benji Gill, the young shortstop, was going to stop at second and put the tag. They better keep running and catch this thing.
They're trying to get themselves out of a jam. It's a timing pickoff play, and you can see the throw is on the first base side of the bag. Gill does a good job to flag it down.
Well, it was a good lead if it was a double play throw, right? 3-2 pitch. Down low, and the bases are full for Danny Tartabull, who homered in the second inning. Here's what he did in the second inning against a 3-0 fastball. Goodbye, about 4:15 or 4:20 off the Monument Park.
A little conference on the mound.
While they talk, we're going to check out some scores, and John got his Jaha's out, hitting a grand slam for the Brewhaws as they lead the White Sox. And we showed you with Gary Miller in our studio the RBI single by Mike Greenwell. The Reds underway at Riverfront against the Cubs. And we're underway here in New York. Everybody else getting underway later on today or this evening. And, of course, baseball tonight all day, all night. Marianne will be here for you right throughout the regular season.
Well, Jerry Nairn sent the pitching coach Dick Mosman out to talk about this at bat. Danny Tartabull, as we mentioned, homered his first time up. He had a grand slam last year. The Yankees hit 5 as a team. They'll want to try to crowd him here. You got to try to keep the ball in. He hit .359 against left-handers last year. They've got to crowd him.
That was a fastball up high. It missed, and Tartabull laid off. It's 1-0. Kelly, the runner at third base. Wade Boggs, the runner at second base. Paul O'Neill, the runner at first base. 1-1 game, but the Yankees thinking big inning. Off speed, he put the outside corner, 1-1.
Rodriguez looked back to Rogers as if he was crossed up. I'm surprised he doesn't go out there and talk about it. He really reacted late to that ball. He was moving inside as if he were expecting a fastball. Looked like Rogers threw a changeup to the outside corner. I'm surprised he got a glove on it.
Well, he fooled both the batter and the catcher. 1-1 the count. That was the inside fastball. Misses 2-1 up top.
Now's a situation. As you look at the Grand Slam leaders, he's got 10 career Grand Slams behind a couple of real thumpers. Eddie Murray and Dave Winfield, both Indians.
Doesn't that sound funny still? Winfield and Murray, Indians. And the count is 3-1, so Rogers now in real trouble with Mattingly on deck.
Well, this is where Mattingly really poses a problem, having batting behind. Yeah,
right. Second straight walk, and this one brings in a run. Yankees lead it 2-1. So Tartabull with an RBI on a home run, and now an RBI on a base-loaded walk.
Well, the Yankees, although they have a lot of power, they're first in the league last year in walks. They're a patient team. And Tartabull takes the bases-loaded walk. He's driven in both runs today.
Speaking of Grand Slams, in case you forgot, I mean, it's a long time ago, 1987. The Major League record for most Grand Slams in a season is 6. Saw by that man right there, Don Welcome Mattingly. Trying to provide a little baseball for you. Rodriguez on a kind of a puffball pitch. Walks it. Now, would this be a big moment here? Mattingly either slam or a big...
this is what you would call a big moment, yes. Good job by Rodriguez as he smothered that curveball in the dirt.
Outside again, it's 2-0, and already action in the bullpen. John Detmer. John Detmer to Society. I don't know, we'll have to work. I'm not really ready with these yet. One of the ones that we've used in the past. And it's 2-0 to Mattingly. 1 run in, 2-1. Yankees bottom of the third. Oh, this could be 2, although it's hit slow. Gill to Fry. Safe at first base, and another run in. Boggs scores 3-1 New York.
Well, Mattingly picks up the RBI. It was a slowly hit ball toward the shortstop Gill. Looked like he was out in front of it, got it off the end of the bat. Beats it in the ground. Gill does a good job of getting the lead runner. Circles it, tosses to Fry at second for the force out. Fry chances the throw, but Mattingly hustles down the line. That's a good sign for the Rangers as they keep the double play in order. Actually, excuse me, that was the second out of the inning.
So now runners on the corners for the Yankees. O'Neill at third, Mattingly at first, and Mike Stanley singled in his first time up in the bottom of the second inning. Now this is interesting. His second baseman No, he just came in to talk with Rogers because it looked like Fry went in and set up in a totally different position, almost directly behind second base. Stood there for like 15 seconds and then went back. So obviously they were just having a conversation long distance. Count is 2-0, and boy, isn't it good when you take a look. It's one of those rare times when you look up and boy, his batting average is 1,000. It's just a nice feeling, isn't it? I mean, it's just it just looks funny up there. I looked up and what do you mean 1,000? It just not that one, the one to the right. There's our score, 3-1 the Yanks. And 2 runs in here in the bottom of the third. 1,000. You dream of hitting 1,000.
Means you get up to a great start. Now, if it were a week or so into the season, that'd be a big deal.
I'll tell you what's a bad number, and a number you'll see on opening day. We did a game, was it you and I last year? Paul Spoljarek came in like the second game of the season for Toronto. Faced 3 guys, didn't get anybody out left. ERA infinity. That's not good. They don't have a graphic built for that. They couldn't put it up there. So take an 8 and squash it over. Count is 2-1, 2 down, 2 runs in here, bottom of the third. Mike Stanley, 3rd year with the Yankees. At the beginning of his 4th season since he was released by Texas. Count is 3-1 now. So Rogers really has lost his feel, has he not, Buck?
Well, he's working just the 4th time this spring. All the starters only got 3 starts in spring training, 3 outings. Normally, starters will get as many as 7 starts during the regular spring training. So he's struggling with his command a bit.
Ripped off the glove of Gill. He can't find it. Now he does it. Throws ridiculously to second base. Fry with the runner already there. O'Neill scores, and it's 4-1.
Now, Benji Gill committed 37 errors in AAA last year, and Johnny Oates had a talk with him, said, hey, I just want you to catch the routine balls. Don't worry about being flashy. Just make the routine plays, and this would have saved a run for him had he come up with his sharply hit ball. Looked like it was hit right at his left side, hit at his feet. He gloved it, but then he couldn't find it. Once he gets it, it's too late to get the force out at second.
You know, why make that throw? Why do that?
Inexperience. 22 years old.
You know, and that was a shot, as was the one by Kelly off of Palmer's glove, but yet great fielding team maybe makes one of those 2 plays. I'm not getting on either one of the guys for not coming up with those balls, but yet a way to go yet on infield defense for Texas.
That's right.
Right here.
That's an area that they're going to need to improve on. And what you look for is an opportunity to get a pitcher out of a tough situation. Comes up with that play, and you save the pitcher a run.
Bernie Williams, the 8th man up for the Yankees this inning, swings and misses. The count is 1-1. Wade Boggs. Great at bat, fouling off 5 pitches at 0-2, and waiting out 3 balls and finally get a base hit. Ended up coming around to score. And Kelly there, 2 guys that started the rally, which has resulted in a 3 spot for Buck Showalter. Hard to believe that Val Houck in '73 was the last manager that has a long run here in New York. Starting his 4th consecutive season. But really, if you think about the volatile nature of the managerial job in New York, it's not that hard to believe.
Well, there was no reason to keep anybody longer than that because the club wasn't winning. Showalter's winning now, and he's got everything going his way. So he says, you know, I like the pressures, and it makes you concentrate. It makes you prepare. Nobody's questioning his work ethic. Showalter has spent times where he stayed over in the locker room. Just didn't go home. Night game, day game the next day. He said, I'll just stay here and get ready for tomorrow's game.
Rogers misses at 3-2. Another note on Showalter. He will be, by virtue of the Yankees having the best record in the American League last year at .619 percentage, he will manage the American League in the All-Star game to be held in Texas against Felipe Alou because the Expos had the best record in all of baseball. These are 2 guys that started managing against each other in the Florida League, single A league in '87. So some mutual respect. That'll be a nice story when All-Star game comes around. Showalter, name no one knew, and Felipe Alou had a really nice major league career, but each earning it from the bottom rungs of management. That'll be in the All-Star game. There's 2-2 to Bernie Williams with Fernandez on deck. 3 runs in, 2 runners still on for New York. Hit 2 walks for New York here in the 3rd. Punches him out on a fastball inside. He froze Bernie Williams, and strands 2 does Kenny Rogers, but not until the Yankees hang a 3 spot and grab a 4-1 lead after 3. To Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. The Yankees lead the Rangers 4-1, and hey, that's us. Chris Berman along with Buck Martinez. It just feels very natural to be out here, doesn't it?
Boy, it's a great day. Opening day in New York, and the Yankees are up on top. Danny Tartabull with a home run. Jimmy Key's on the mound. It looks as though nothing has changed.
Well, here's nothing has changed in this man's swing. Will Clark, I'm glad you could join us here for the first of our triple dip today on ESPN. Will Clark flew out to left field his first time up. It looks like it'll be all for Kenny Rogers, at least by the way he packed up his gear and went into the clubhouse after the inning. He threw 44 pitches that last half inning, total of 73. And Buck, I mean, you told me something that I wouldn't have heard. They were toying with the idea that the first 10 days of the season that a pitcher only had to go 3. In other words, the starter, a lot of the starters won't go 5, but they've gone back to the regular rules?
Yes, I think they have. They were toying with the idea, and I think consensus was that there was no reason to put another mark on a season that's already been cut short. So pitchers going to have to go 5 innings. And there were several pitchers that did go 5 innings at the end of spring training, Jimmy Key being one. He stayed back in an extended spring training situation, pitched 5 innings his last time out. So it is 5 innings for a win.
Count is 2-2 to Clark as Texas is looking at a 3-run deficit here in the top of the 4th. Will skies it. Mattingly makes the play right on the foul line. There's 1 out. Let's always making the play for us, Gary Miller.
Chris, MCI Proof Positive takes us to Fenway Park. Scott Erickson against the hit dog, Mo Vaughn, sky high. And that is going to fall in for a base hit to score their new leadoff man, Luis Salasea, who had such an outstanding spring. Frankie Rodriguez now in for Seeley. They've given up 1 hit, lead 2-0.
Thanks, Gary. It's like they're still in Fort Myers. The Twins and the Red Sox, and they play each other about 18 times because they're the 2 teams in Fort Myers. As to Mickey Tettleton looks at strike 1. Now we shall see. A lot of folks say they won't go to a game this year, or they'll. I think what you'll see is a lot of folks that may go 7 or 8 to 10 times, maybe go about 4 or 5 times, except that their team gets in the pennant race. But I don't think anybody knows about how they're going to react. They all say, well, at baseball they've turned me off, or they're going to have to do something to get me back, or. Now that the season's here and you go to the park runs, I don't think anybody knows really how they're going to react.
No, I don't think so until you open up the morning paper and read the box scores like we've all done throughout our whole life. Get into a habit of having a cup of coffee in the morning and checking the box scores and see how the home team did, and that's when the people really get back into the feeling of baseball with that. Now that's a great picture.
Yep.
Glove in hand, sitting there waiting for a foul ball.
Cap looked ready too. The cap.
That's what you used to do, right? Couple rows back there, sitting on the edge.
I brought my gloves to the game. I certainly did. I caught one behind first base at the old stadium. I still remember the details. It was a Yankee Red Sox game. As Tettleton sends one to center field. Bernie Williams makes the play, and there's 2 out. Immediately after the game today, we'll go out to San Diego for the Defenders Series live. Mighty Mary against Stars and Stripes. It's a key race. Stars and Stripes and Young America with 5 points, Mighty Mary with 4 points. As we are getting toward the nitty-gritty time, who will be the American representative? Well, there are a couple of representatives of America. Joe DiMaggio and Reggie Jackson. Pair of Hall of Famers. Great. Joe looks 80 years old. I mean, there they see. Joe had what, 3? So there's about 900 homers in that picture right there. Very good inning as Pudge Rodriguez skies it to Tartabull and right. A 1-2-3 inning for Jimmy Key. 4-1 New York. We're back at Yankee Stadium. 4-1 Yankees. Bottom of the 4th. We just saw an ad for the Deuce, and we should tell you that America's Cup race we were talking about, we were all fired up, will be on ESPN2. So hopefully you will join the Deuce this afternoon. The new pitcher here in the bottom of the 4th inning is John. Another day older and deeper in Detmer. Yeah, a little long, from 16 tons, but John, the youngster from Illinois, just reached his 25th birthday, was 0-6 in 11 games last year with Texas. So suffice it to say that he's looking to do a little better this year, Buck, than he did last year.
Well, last year the starting pitching rotation was in a shambles. They used 12 different starters, and Detmer was one of those pitchers. He started 9 games for the Rangers last year, so he's looking to improve upon that, of course. This is an area of concern for the Texas Rangers. Their relief corps. They've got a pretty solid starting staff right now, but they need some performances from some guys down in that bullpen.
Well, they feel that if Jeff Russell, who of course was, and I'm sure Jeff would admit it too, it was horrible last year with Boston and Cleveland, although he had some good save numbers. The year before he was excellent with Boston. Remember, he's the all-time save leader of the Texas Rangers. Made the all-star team from them a couple of times. So they get Russell is the closer now. They get Roger McDowell, who again struggled a lot last year with LA, but he could be pretty good. They have Matt Whiteside, who every time I see him looks good. As this is ripped by Tony Fernandez with into center field. So his first base hit is a New York Yankee. They got Whiteside, who's up and down. They got Oliver, the lefty. I mean, they got some guys who could fill the role, but not really in the 4th inning. These are not the guys you want out there in the 4th and 5th inning.
Well, during the regular season, during the course of the season, the starters will pitch much better. They have got a very solid starting staff, and as soon as Kenny Rogers gets himself into pitching shape, he'll be pitching later on in the ball game. Last year, he averaged 7 innings per start. This is a good hit-and-run matchup here with Fernandez at first and Pat Kelly at the plate. Fernandez gives him some speed down at the bottom of the lineup. Pat Kelly, a very good handler of the bat. He can put the ball in play on the right side. They can play first to third here and turn the lineup over.
Well, Kelly single to start the last inning. The 3rd inning began the Yankees' 3-run outburst, which eventually got rid of Kenny Rogers. Pitched way up top by Detmer, and it's now 2-0. And I know the Yankees are thinking about their bullpen pitcher, Charlie Wandsworth.
Yeah, Charlie Wandsworth was hit by a line drive during batting practice in spring training. He's in the hospital, Holy Cross Hospital in Fort Lauderdale, and all the Yankees want to send their best to Charlie Wands and offer a get well soon, Charlie.
A hit and run, and able to hold to be large on the left side, and perfect play by Kelly. You just said he knows what to do with the bat. And because Fernandez was running, Gill had to go over and cover second base. The grounder went right through where his cleats once were.
Now, Tony Fernandez adds a dimension of speed to this ball club. Lead-off single. They put the hit and run on, and executed very well by Pat Kelly. Normally, you think about going to the right side. They got a pitch on the inside part of the plate. The shortstop Gill was covering, and he pulled it through the left side of the infield. Look at Fernandez at first base, reading Detmer, gets a decent jump, checks the swing of Kelly, sees the ball go through the left side, and then right in front of Billy Hatcher, Fernandez moves over to third.
So now the top of the order to Wade Boggs, who singled and scored his last time up. Wade is 1 for 2. because of the odd opening day being Wednesday, this is a shotgun kind of ball game here. I mean, this is a one-shot deal. The Yankees here for one game, then they'll fly to Kansas City tomorrow, work out, and open up a weekend series on the road against the Royals. For Texas, they're here for one game. They'll go home and then open up their season Friday night, and off day tomorrow against the Cleveland Indians. So a one-game homestand. Actually, they play tomorrow as well against Cleveland, so a four-game homestand against Cleveland, then more with Seattle. Well, the Yankees come back after that three-game road trip and host their arch rival, the Red Sox. So some early travel, but really except for that day and the day after the All-Star game, for some teams, the schedule isn't that drastically different. For others, there are a lot of teams that have a lot of one-game series back and forth. There will be some quirks this season, no doubt.
Well, the Yankees want to go to Kansas City on the off day and work out on that new surface in Kauffman Stadium. They've taken out the artificial turf, and they have a natural grass field there.
You see that the longtime groundskeeper, George Tillman, going to throw out the first pitch.
Very appropriate.
Boggs rips it to right field, but Greer is there, and he boots it. He boots it. Fernandez scores. Kelly to second. 5-1 Yankees. I mean, again, the ball was ripped, but we're seeing that the Rangers have some work to do with the glove.
Obviously, a sharply hit ball. Boggs hits it on the button. It may have been a knuckleball out there to right field. Greer has a bead on it. You can see he should have made the play. No question about that. I'm sure he'll be charged with an error there. But Boggs will get a sacrifice and an RBI on the play.
Jerry Narin already to the mound to talk with his relief pitcher, John Detmer. So they huddle up, and action very quickly in the bullpen. Here is what the Texas Rangers staff, Buck, will look like this year. Their starters going into the season. These are, of course, last year's numbers. Rogers and Pavlik with the Rangers. Kevin Gross will be the day 2 starter. That's his numbers with L.A. last year. Tewksbury, obviously, with St. Louis, and Helling here with Texas. Potentially not bad.
Now, potentially, it's pretty good, considering that there are a lot of guys in there that can give you innings. Kenny Rogers, Kevin Gross, Bob Tewksbury have all pitched over 200 innings in a season. Kevin Gross coming over here as a free agent from the Dodgers, but they're probably most excited about Roger Pavlik, the way he has thrown this spring after battling arm problems last year and eventual surgery.
Well, the Rangers came in having their starters not giving up a run in their last 19 innings this spring. Of course, that ended today when they played for Rio. And Jim Leyritz holds off the first pitch but takes it for a strike. Here are the games. The Brewers now way in front of the White Sox 6-1. The Royals underway, so they had the Roma throw out the ball today. The Red Sox 3-0 lead at home. The Cubs leading at Cincinnati. Of course, it's 5-1. The Yankees here. Leyritz reaching at that one, goes to center field. I tell you, he reached and went a long way as Otis Nixon makes the play, throws it into second. With Kelly moving up to third base, he wanted to make sure the base runner stayed at first, which is Wade Boggs. Pretty good wood to it. The ball traveled well, Buck, considering it looked like he was full.
Well, there is a bit of a breeze here, and it's blowing out toward left center. Leyritz with his 17 home runs last year, always working. It was like he pulled off that ball and didn't really stay with it, or else he may have driven out his first home run.
Well, that'll do it for John Detmer. And Terry Burrows will come in. Roster's expanded for a while, and they're all expanded on the pitching staff, so a lot of guys like maybe Burrows, who would normally start in AAA, will be pitching in Yankee Stadium in Nebraska. Yeah, welcome back to Yankee Stadium, where fans of all ages, look at this cigar, hat a little askew, and pick up that left hand there, sir. He's got a baseball glove in that, Buck.
Yeah.
He got the jacket and the gar and the
There it
cap
is.
and he's got the glove.
Dusted off the old glove and brought it out to the stadium today. Got a scorebook, too. He's keeping score.
The old Red Ralph model glove, isn't it, I think? Scorebook, front row. I mean, now, look, we're not putting this up there to make us look smart, as if we just did this during the break. Yesterday, we talked about the Rangers bucking. Went over their strengths and weaknesses and suspect, and I think everyone has come into play thus far.
Well, we know they can score some runs, and they eventually will when they get Gonzalez back. Defense, although they've just committed the one error, they had a couple of plays where they could have bailed out the pitchers a bit. Suspect, rookie shortstop. N.G. Gill had that play where he could have gotten out of the inning. The bullpen, John Detmer comes in here and gave up a couple of base hits to start the inning.
Here's a couple of lists you don't want to be on. Worst in AL. Loud runs, errors, blown saves. Wow, this is Paul O'Neill pitching against Terry Burroughs. Now, that is not the most valuable player in the American League for the Texas Rangers 21 years ago, who was Jeff Burroughs. This is Terry Burroughs. You see his numbers with AAA Oklahoma City last year. O'Neill off the side. Count is 1-1. Yankees 1 in the second on Tartabull's long home run. 3 in the third on a walk to Tartabull, a fielder's choice to Mattingly, a single by Stanley. And a run here in the fourth, a sacrifice fly by Boggs, although he eventually reached because Greer also dropped the ball. Granted to kill, Fry, Clark. Double play. So good job by Burroughs, and there's some good fielding by that young double play combination. The Yankees come up with one. We've played 4, 5-1 New York.
Ladies and gentlemen,
We're back at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees leading at 5-1 over the Texas Rangers here in the top of the fifth. Chris Berman along with Buck Martinez, and we've watched Jimmy Key give up a single on the first pitch of the game to Otis Nixon, but he hadn't allowed more than a runner in any of the innings. He pitched 55 pitches through the first 4. Now he faces Dean Palmer, Rusty Greer, and Billy Hatcher. Speed does not drop it in. And we all do. Man who, Howard Cosell, in our business, there was never anybody like him before or after him. Spoke up about social issues, whether you agreed with him or not, but no one else would dare do in this profession. Ripped by Dean Palmer. But foul. Wouldn't have played was Howard to rip anyone, if that's what he thought. But I will say this also. His halftime highlights on Monday Night Football. Now, that's just a broadcasting score. That's not a, okay, you took a stand socially or this or that. His halftime highlights on Monday Night Football remain classics. And all of us who earn our living in this profession owe him a good debt of a pretty good debt, because he opened up a lot of doors and opened up a lot of things to the people in this business and dealing with the missed.
He certainly did a lot to change the image of sports on television. And before the game today, there was a moment of silence on Howard Cosell and the victims of the bombing in Oklahoma City.
One other note on Howard. Very private funeral yesterday. Our condolences to his family. Greg Cosell, who works, his nephew works at NFL Films, he was at ESPN. We send our condolences to him. But one of those that show was Rachel Robinson, the wife of the late Jackie Robinson. There you go. 5-1. The Yankees lead Texas here in the top of the fifth. Count is 3-2 to Dean Palmer, the leadoff batter. Jimmy Key doing all sorts of histrionics on that. But what was that?
That was the changeup that he really exaggerated the follow-through on, and it took him toward the first base foul line. A 3-2 changeup, and watch his follow-through. Really exaggerating the follow-through, and then the 360 off the mound. He's added a little touch to his delivery there.
Yeah, he has. Pat Kelly going out. Bernie Williams coming in. Makes the play, and there's one out here in the Texas fifth. Let's quickly go to Gary Miller.
MCI proof positive takes us to Fenway. Carl Willis against Jose Canseco with the bases loaded. He rips a shot, his second hit of the game. This is going to bring home Tinsley. Alicea scores for the second time. It's 5-0. Vaughn has just knocked in 2 more. Red Sox lead 7-0. Back to you, Chris.
All right, Gary, I tell you what, they are, not only do I think Canseco's going to have a great year in there, they're going to love him. I mean, a guy that they used to love to boo, oh, he's going to be a mega Boston star. You know how they love their big-time athletes up there.
Remember when they got on him when he was playing right field for Oakland? All the fans in right field down there at Fenway were getting on him.
He was always good-natured with them, though. He never reacted the wrong way to it. He had fun with them.
Yep.
As a guy you saw earlier, Reggie used to have fun in right field at Fenway, too. You know, they will love Jose up there this year. I think that's marriage made. It's perfect. 2-0 pitch is ripped by Rusty Greer to right field and drops in for the first base hit for the Rangers since Hatcher led off the third with a double. He had retired 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row until that base hit.
Rusty Greer led all rookies last year with a .314 batting average, and he very quietly established himself as the everyday right fielder. I think Gonzalez back in left field. They'll have a pretty good outfield with Nixon in center. Jimmy Key never allows the hitters to take too many good swings against him because he's always changing speeds. He'll give you a slow curve, then he'll give you a quick fastball or the change-about side. You never see too many hitters take real good cuts off Jimmy Key. He's always messing with their timing. Inside, that's a pretty good pitch. He wanted that fastball. He thought he'd made a pretty good pitch to the inside corner. 68 pitches. He has really thrown a lot. Given his surgery last October, he's got himself into great shape. And a change-up.
You know, in talking with Jimmy Buck, he would have, being the gamer that he is, tried to go through the season and pitch. No one really knows whether he would have made it through the entire season with the way his shoulder was feeling. So the 8 months, not a blessing to him, but not a bad timetable as it worked out for him because it allowed him to fully recover from his shoulder problem. He only won 17 games. No, he's not himself sure what he had made.
No, that's right. He was much more dominant in '93 when he was 18-6. He really was in command on the mound. Last year, he just used his savvy to get through with the 17 wins.
Ground ball by Hatcher. Fernandez. Oh, it just, whoa, and it went out of the hands of Pat Kelly. But the runner is out at second base. Greer, see the way Fernandez gets rid of the ball. I love watching him play shortstop.
So does Pat Kelly. He loves the way Fernandez delivers the ball to him on potential double plays. Watch Tony go to his right, plant that foot, and then the sidearm flip, but it's right there. Look at a perfect strike at second. Kelly was in a bit of a rush and really didn't find the handle, but they get the lead runner in the force out. The leading fielding shortstop of all time.
Well, you go along with Don Mattingly, was the highest fielding percentage of any American League first baseman. Bonds won a Gold Glove at third. That's pretty good infield.
And with the pitching staff that likes to throw a lot of strikes and put the ball in play, they're going to be called upon a lot.
Count is 0-1 to Benji Gill. Calls for time. Again, replacement umpires today. Bill Deegan, who used to work in the American League, wearing his old chest protector. Umpires, regular umps, picketing outside the stadium. Sarek Gregg, Kurt Tata, and Hahn, Al Clark, some others. Fellas, we hope to see you back really soon. Hope baseball gets their head out of the sand, even if it's just to take a breath of fresh air. Figure this out and then go back into their bunker. John Fear, by the way, was at the game beforehand, so obviously the fans gave him a mixed reaction. Well, not mixed, I mean, you know what reaction it was. We are in the Bronx, after all. And he says he hopes to have conversations next week with the management side. Hopes to. It implied that it was 100% set. That's his timetable.
They need to get back and get a negotiated deal and put all of this concern about the labor strife behind them for about 6 or 7 years.
Yep.
Should be a long-term deal, so we don't have to go through this.
21st century, we'll address it again. Off-speed pitch, and he handcuffs Benji Gill. So for Jimmy Key, his third strikeout, his first one since the second inning. Strands a runner. And we move into the bottom of the fifth with the Yankees leading it 5-1. Back in the bottom of the fifth inning, Chris Berman along with Buck Martinez. So glad you could be with us here. The first of our triple dip on ESPN. And Danny Tartabull is pretty happy to be out here today. Long home run, about 430 feet. In the monument area for the first American League home run of the year. At the time, it gave the Yankees a 1-0 lead. Tartabull later walked, so he's still perfect on the young season, which has now moved 4.5 innings deep for the Yankees. Rips this foul wide of first base coach Willie Randolph. I mentioned earlier, it's also a familiar sight in pinstripes.
He looks like he could still play.
Oh, God, yes.
Huh?
No question about it.
Great shake. You know, you think back to the middle 70s when Willie Randolph started here, 76, part of that American League pennant winning team. Bucky Dent, shortstop. He is the coach with the Rangers now. A great time that was with the Yankees and how they got 3 straight.
You were here with the Royals in that famous series in '76, which culminated with Chambliss' home.
Another bad pitch, I think. First pitch of the bottom of the 9th inning in that game in '76. Bird? No, it was Mark Littell.
Mark Littell.
Yes.
I can't see now. I'm rusty. I should know that without a doubt. Of course, it was Mark Littell.
Heidi Herzog was the manager. Reggie Jackson came the next year in '77 and led the Yankees further. Okay, they've had some great players here. You know, you talk about Yankees and their ability to bring star players here. That hasn't really necessarily meant championships. Talking about not being in the World Series since 1981.
Well, for a younger generation, as Tartabull draws a inning opening base on balls from Terry Burroughs, third Texas pitcher. I mean, younger generation would have been the Yankees. I mean, yeah, we know who they are, but I mean, to us, our generation, what do you mean the Yankees haven't been in the postseason for 14 years? That sounds impossible. Now, there's the guy that they built this ball yard around, huh? Born 100 years ago. His picture is on the cover of the program that the fans bought on the way to the stadium today. George Herman Ruth. The house that Ruth built. Mr. Don Mattingly and company are hoping to take into October baseball once again. Chain pulled by Terry Burroughs on that pitch. Way to describe it, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a curveball that he took something off and got Mattingly out on that front foot. Always talk about disrupting the timing of the hitter, keeping them from gauging the speed pitch after pitch.
Again off speed. Mattingly will sit down. So Mattingly has been struck out twice today. One by Rogers, now by Burroughs.
Another slow curveball. Watch how he gets that weight out on that front foot. He's way out ahead, even though he's trying to stay back with 2 strikes. The swing gets Mattingly out in front.
That'll bring up Mike Stanley, who is 2 for 2 with 2 singles. Five to 1, the Yankees lead the Texas Rangers here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 1 in the 2nd, 3 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th. Ground ball to Dean Palmer, over to Fry, to Clark. Burroughs has come in and gotten a pair of double play balls to end both the 4th and the 5th inning. So the Yankees, for the first time since the first, sit down without plating a run. We played 5-1 New York. We are back at Yankee Stadium in the top of the 6th inning. The Yankees behind Jimmy Key, leading the Rangers 5-1. And Key, who's made his living in this sport for over a decade, we asked him, what do you think the fan reaction would be early on this year?
It's going to be interesting to see. I expect a little bit of both, cheering and booing, and you know. But I think down the road, once we get this first month or so out and start playing baseball and the pennant races start and the heat of the summer comes, I think hopefully it'll all be forgotten and we can get on with life.
I don't think there'll be too much booing of Jimmy Key today.
No.
He has been outstanding working into the 6th inning, allowing just 4 hits and a single run. That was his 77th pitch of the ball game. That's a pretty high number given the fact that he is coming off shoulder surgery. But Buck Showalter is pretty much listening to Jimmy Key. He's done that since Key came here as far as how he feels, when he should come out of a game. And Key is pretty upfront about it.
Second time in the game that Nixon has swung at the first pitch from him. First one was the first pitch of the ball game. He singled to right. That one he almost curled around in the corner. Pitch misses at 1-1. Back to Jimmy Key for a moment, and I know it's a moment you will remember. Certainly a moment that Jimmy Key will never forget. As Nixon fouls it off. He was one of the old-time Blue Jays. And when the Blue Jays made the World Series in '92 and ended up defeating the Atlanta Braves in that memorable series, the scene up there in Toronto was just a great scene. And he started game 4, and a lot of folks, it wasn't sure that he was not going to be back with Toronto, but it looked like that might be it. As Nixon hits one into center field and gets aboard. He walked out of the 8th inning. I guess it was Wardo that came in, and then Hanky. It was a standing ovation. It was as if everyone in Toronto was saying thank you for a decade's worth of pitching for us. You're one of our old guys. I think it went Key, Ward, Hanky that night. It was an old-time Blue Jay win, and he's talked about that since. That's something he'll never forget, I'm sure.
Very emotional time for him, and you could really read it in his eyes as they welled up as he walked off the field, and he tipped his hat to the fans as if to say thank you very much, and I'll see you somewhere else.
Well, he hopes he sees them in the playoffs this year, with maybe 2 teams from the AL East could make it. Remember, we never played that through last year, so if you've been living in a cave, 4 teams per league in the playoffs, 3 division winners, and a wild card. Otis Nixon at first base, none out. Jeff Fry is up. The count is 0-1. Ooh, and Fry squeezes it inside the bag. It bounds around. They're calling for fan interference down there. Otis Nixon out of third base. That's going to be the ground rule double, I presume. They found it around, and the fan actually got a hand there. We can't really see where we are, but so very quickly the Rangers with a couple of base runners here in the 6th inning of runners at second and third with none out.
Fry kept that ball just inside the bag at first base, and he ends up at second. And the Rangers got something going here with Will Clark and nobody out. Clark is 0 for 2 today against Jimmy Key, but last year he was 4 for 7 the first time he had a chance to face Jimmy Key. He's the type of guy that hits the ball from foul line to foul line and generally stays back. He doesn't get too happy, so he has had some success against Key.
Ripped to center field, and this should play to pair. Nixon scores easily. Here comes the throw from Williams. Cut off by Mattingly. 2 runs are in. The Rangers have cut it to 5-3. So Nixon, Fry, and Clark all with base hits off Jimmy Key. And that was your classic Will Clark swing, was it not, Buck?
Silky smooth. I tell you, he stays back, gets a good look at the Key pitch. Watch the concentration. Keeps his head down, eyes focused on the ball. Takes it right back up the middle, cashes in 2 runs. First hit of the game for Will Clark and 3 hits in a row, and that's probably going to be the end for Jimmy Key.
Well, you would think so. Well, we don't know. We'll see. But Buck Showalter going to the mound. And with Bob Sticky Wickman warming up in the bullpen for the Yankees. He's doing exactly what you said, though. How much you think you got left? Well, I don't know, Skip. Are you sure? Well, I don't know. The signal has gone out to Bob Wickman. And Jimmy Key will leave after 5 innings plus.
Well, they got a great bullpen, and Jimmy Key is in line for his 6th opening day W here as he gets a round of applause from the Yankee fans.
Key is off. Wickman is in. We'll be back to Yankee Stadium in a moment.
MCI